DISQO and Do the WeRQ release new consumer insights on brand wokeness and boycotting. Let's get into it. And welcome to Innovate Marketing Daily. Today is September 13th, 2023. My name is Sean P. Neal, and we are brought to you by mypodcast.media. So, mypodcast.media produces amazing podcasts for brands just like yours. So, if you're considering launching a podcast, make sure you visit mypodcast.media. All right, we've got a great story for you today. So, without further ado, and thanks so much for joining me on this 13th day of September 2023. The week is half over, the month is almost half over. Wow, I'm not going to say it. I'm resisting the urge. Okay, whatever. It's time flies, so make sure you're enjoying every minute of it, my friends. Okay, there I said it. All right. I want to just right off the bat admit that I know the topic for today's story can be a little bit dicey for us, okay? But I also want to reiterate and reaffirm our commitment here on Innovate Marketing Daily to only bring you stories that bring value to growing your business, your brand, and your marketing. So, with that in mind, please take this next story as informational and use it however you need to in what you do every day. Okay. So today's story comes to us from Los Angeles, California, where consumer or customer experience platform DISQO and Do the WeRQ released a new report. That report was called LGBTQ plus advertising from boldness to backlash. Now, in this report, they were exploring consumer perspectives on boycotting and brand wokeness. It's the third annual study about receptivity to LGBTQ plus inclusion in advertising, and it underscores the needs for brands to test messages, plan for boycotts, and consider the value of being seen as woke against their near and long term revenues. Now, there is a lot of data in this report, and really am going to thin it down for today's story just because I don't want this to be too overwhelming. But these are really good statistics to know. And like I said, you can take them then and move forward with them in whatever way you need to with your brand. So, boycotting, as you probably know, has become quite common, but its nature is changing with every controversy. Some consumers punish and some consumers reward brands with their wallets, while others take their grievances to social media. So behaviors vary significantly by generation and self-identification as a member of the LGBTQ plus community or not. So here are some statistics for you. First one we're going to talk about is boycott validity. So 85% of LGBTQ plus consumers, that is, by the way, the fastest growing minority group in the US, 85% believe that boycotts are a valid way to express feedback, which is more than the general population, coming in at 70%. Now, the second point is boycott motivation. 80% of LGBTQ plus consumers said that they boycotted a brand that they disagreed or that disagreed with their position, while only 55% of general consumers said the same. Now, the next point is boycott permanence. There's a heavy word. Half who said they had participated in a boycott said they never returned to the brand or brands again. Of those who did return, 60% boycotted until the brand or brands changed its position. That's pretty significant. And last but not least, boycott variety. Older adults. I'm probably falling into that older category now. I celebrated a 50-year birthday this year. I'll drink a cup of coffee to that. All right, older adults tend to stop buying the product or service altogether, never to return, while younger and LGBTQ plus adults are more likely to take additional steps beyond action with their wallets. So there are four kind of important points to keep in mind. Now, what do consumers believe a brand's role should be in DEI or DE&I progress? Okay, so that's diversity, equity, and inclusion progress. Compared to last year's study, and that was fielded in June of 2022, which was Pride Month, This year's study, fielded in May of 2023, revealed a 23-point drop in recall of LGBTQ plus inclusive advertising. This lack of representation outside of Pride is noticeable, even though consumers, especially those identifying as LGBTQ plus, believe brands have the power to make things better for LGBTQ plus people. All right, three final bullet points here filled with statistics. Are you ready? Data point number one, advertising impact. This is important. Advertising impact. 71% of consumers believe brands can impact perceptions about LGBTQ plus people, and 62% believe that they can also impact LGBTQ plus political decisions. Number two, data point number two, discrimination protections. About 75% think it's important for brands to actively prevent LGBTQ plus people from discrimination, and about 33% think it's extremely important. Now, these numbers increase to 97% thinking it's important and 70% thinking it's extremely important for LGBTQ plus adults. And last data point is meaningful commitment. 36% of LGBTQ plus adults say they would stick with a brand after backtracking on a social issue. That's plus 13 points versus overall, which perhaps suggests that they've come to expect token support like rainbow washing in June. Now, insights were sourced from 10,015 consumers in DISQO's audience between May 23rd and 24th, 2023, and weighted to represent the US population. Of course, we will link to the LGBTQ plus advertising from boldness to backlash report in the show notes. So make sure that you connect with that if you're interested in learning more. Now, speaking of learning more, I've got a lot of work to do. It's midweek, as we said, and there are a lot of stories coming through the pipeline. So I'm on the lookout for things that will be valuable to you in growing your business, in growing your marketing, in growing your brand. So until we meet again, my friends, please stay safe and be well. See ya.